Spring. And joining us to talk about that is Christian Whiten. He's a former State Department senior official and now a principal at D.C. International Advisory. Christian, thanks for joining us.
Great to be here, Amy. Thanks for having me.
Great. So you heard the quotes that I just read to you from Jonathan Evans, the head of MI5, in London, talking about this rising influence of al-Qaeda in the Mideast since the Arab Spring. How pervasive has it been?
You know, I think that's an overstatement. Al-Qaeda is actually a relatively small part of Arab Spring. Unfortunately, though, Islamists, of which Al-Qaeda is a small part, the Islamist political and terrorist movement, has become an increasingly large part of Arab Spring. It didn't start Arab Spring. If you look, well, first before Arab Spring with Persian Spring in Iran, and then across Arab Spring, and especially in Tahrir Square, those were largely secularists. Those were people who didn't want Mubarak, but who also didn't want the Iranian model of Islamism. Unfortunately, we have not helped them. They have not really helped themselves. These are the reformers, the more liberal parts. And so you have Islamists who are traditionally better organized making inroads through this movement, and al-Qaeda cropping up also in, sort of the usual lawless parts of the Middle East.
Okay, Christian, I want to show the table and our viewers a map of AQ hotspots that are popping up since the Arab Spring. You see on your screen there, it includes Libya, Egypt, Syria, Yemen, Somalia. Al-Qaeda is actually waning in influence in Pakistan, but of course it's in that lawless region. And the question that I want to ask you, Christian, is Al-Qaeda, even if you're saying that it's a small part of the Arab Spring, are they at least taking advantage of the conditions that have been created since these revolutions started sweeping across the Middle East?
They certainly have in places, the more lawless places you mentioned, especially Yemen and Somalia. Of course, in Somalia, they're good buddies with the folks who have been trying to take over that country, al-Shabaab, who luckily have been set back a little bit lately, but certainly in Yemen, which is perhaps the province of Arab Spring that had the least good prospects of leading to democracy and leading to accountable government and secular government. They have used the opportunity there, I believe, to make inroads and also to try and export terrorism, which is their chief instrument. You'll recall, I believe it was last month, they were caught trying to foment a plan to use airliners against us that was luckily foiled.
Hey, Christian, this is Will Kane. Some time ago, about a year ago, I had the pleasure to hang out with former governor of New York, Eliot Spitzer, off and on, night to night. And something he said kind of often was, the Arab Spring was evidence of al-Qaeda's impotence, that the Arab Spring is a complete rebuke of al-Qaeda as any kind of greater model for Islam's popularity. And he said these popular revolutions were evidence of that. A year later, do you think that's true, or the embrace in places like Tunisia and Egypt and possibly in Syria of the Muslim Brotherhood, does that tell you something different?
I think what Spitzer says was true, but a lot has happened in a year, and the bad guys, the Islamists, have taken advantage of the situation. And